Hi, my name is Wendy Ngunga and I'm sales manager at Property Boutique.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Kitolo. I'm an advocate and also the legal officer at Property Boutique.
Hi, my name is Angela Ndolo. I am a tax consultant at CM Academy LLP.
So today we'll be discussing the registration and the legalities behind Airbnb. Airbnb has disrupted the real estate market in the last 10 years, and in Nairobi and coastal regions in particular, where we're seeing very high real estate going towards Airbnb. So today we'll discuss with Cynthia and Angie in terms of what legalities you have to look out for as an Airbnb owner. So Cynthia, you can go into depth in terms of what I need to know as an Airbnb owner.
Okay, I would first give a background of in terms of regulation where all this started. There is the Tourism Act. So from the Tourism Act, the Act created a statutory body, that's the Tourism Regulatory Authority. So the Tourism Regulatory Authority is what regulates the activities in regards to Airbnbs.
Because they fall within the tourism sector.
Exactly, yes. So actually in 2021, the Tourism Regulatory Authority came up with regulations because they saw the growth.
Yeah. We will have over 10,000 Airbnbs in Kenya today.
Yeah. So they saw the growth. So out of that growth, then they decided to come up with regulations.
Okay.
Yes.
So what would be the first step I need to take as a Airbnb owner?
So the first step will touch on licensing.
Okay.
So when you're obtaining a license from the TRA, so TRA is the Tourism Regulatory Authority, the first step, you'll have to make a one-off application fee of 1,000 shillings. Then depending on the facility, because the range depends. So if it's a serviced apartment, then you'll have to pay an annual fee of 26,000. So from that, then you'll have an application form. The TRA has provided an application form. So you'll use the application form, attach the evidence of the payments, that's the one-off payment and the annual license fee of 26,000. And then you provide a copy of the title deed or the lease agreement over your property. And then a copy of your ID and the PIN certificate. Then all these documents, you lodge them at the TRA offices.
Okay, so this will be the first application I make, and I need to do this before I invest into the Airbnb?
Actually, because the regulations came in 2021, there are people who have already started operating Airbnbs. So it's actually a requirement right now for people to actually make the application for the license.
Yes, because Airbnb started in Kenya around 2015. So you can imagine all the Airbnbs that have been registered that entire time.
Yes.
Great. So what would be the second step I need to take after getting that approval?
So the other thing is the compliance standards that the TRA have established under the Act. So you need to have complied with the same.
Okay, great. And for Angela, is there any tax that I need to look out for in terms of my Airbnb?
Yes, of course. As you know, our government is in the business of collecting taxes and raising revenue. Yeah. So Airbnb, since as you have mentioned, is a new space that currently has not been yet properly established in terms of a proper tax base that you'd say this is where it exactly falls. So there's a number of tax bases that Airbnb falls under. So there's VAT, which is value added tax, because there's something known as taxable supply, because it's a supply of a service. So you're supposed, as the host, to charge VAT in the booking fee or the fees that you charge for the guest to come and stay at your place. So VAT, that is at 16%. And then there's something we call minimum tax. Because ideally, if you look at the setup of a Airbnb, they don't really make money to warrant a corporation tax. Yeah. Because it's not a lot of money. So yes, there's specific taxes that apply, but it also depends also on the model that you've adopted. So if you're a individual like you and I, and you have an apartment that you're renting out because you've maybe moved to a better house or you've constructed a house somewhere. So for you, you'd probably not pay the commercial or corporate tax that a company would pay if they are running the Airbnb. So yes, definitely Airbnb, there's some taxes that they pay.
What about the rental income tax?
Rental income tax is a one-off tax that is a final tax, quote unquote. So it applies only to someone who has like a tenant who stays there like throughout the month, from the first of the month to the 30th. For Airbnb, someone comes for 2 days, 3 days, a week. So there's no consistent tenant that I can say I am collecting 10,000 shillings from, for example, Cynthia as my tenant. So there's no consistency of terms of that earning for it to fall properly under the monthly rental income. But there's the KRA is trying to maneuver a way they can be able to capture that industry properly in terms of having a one-off tax base that they can be able to say that this one applies. Because if you actually look properly, there's something we call digital service tax. That is also something that they're eligible, because Airbnb is also something that happens over the internet. And digital service tax is on digital market supply, something that is a service that is provided on the digital marketplace. So the regulation in terms of that space is not yet properly provided for, but you'd find sometimes you'll be told, pay this, pay that. So it's a little bit up in the air. We cannot say like for a residential apartment where you own and you have a one tenant, we'll tell you pay 10% of the rental income.
Which is the normal rental income tax.
Yes.
Yeah. And what if I live in the house? You know, there's situations where I have a 3-bedroom house. I don't want to, allow the other 2 bedrooms to be vacant. So I'm just listing my property in terms of those 2 particular rooms on Airbnb. Would they still be applicable to the same tax?
Yes, definitely, because at the end of the day, the main key in terms of taxes is, are you gaining? Is there a gain? So if there's a gain, definitely there's always a tax applicable. So in this case, the first tax would be VAT. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Angela.
Yeah.
Back to you, Cynthia.
Yes.
So now that I know the tax that I need to pay, what's the next step?
There are other licenses,
Okay.
I would say. So we have NEMA license.
Okay.
That's a license provided for under the Act. So it's important for any host or owner of an Airbnb to acquire the same. Then, of course, the single business permit, because an Airbnb is an income generating business. So that must be governed.
But I don't own a business. I'm just listing as Wendy.
Yes.
On my Airbnb account. Do I still need to pay the single business?
Yeah, it's a business.
Okay.
So anything in Kenya, if you're running an income generating business, then you need to acquire a single business permit. Yes.
Okay.
Then the other thing, which is not mandatory but prudent for any Airbnb host or owner, is acquiring an home insurance, because of course of the liability and the risks attached to owning an Airbnb. Because at that point, you're bringing a lot of people into your premise. There can be accidents to the occupiers. So it's always good to have insurance.
Yeah, just to cover everything that's going to happen in terms of the house.
Yes, the occupiers, your fixtures in the house, your furniture.
And this would be taken out by me personally, because I've seen a lot of subleasing. Essentially, I come and sublease the house and essentially now run an Airbnb. So would I still need to insure the home?
Yeah. It's not mandatory, of course, but it's important.
It's safe, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other steps that I need to take?
I guess in terms of the legal part of it, that would be it.
So I know there's thousands of Airbnbs who have not gotten to meeting these requirements or don't know the penalties that come with them. So will I end up in jail, or what's going to happen?
Actually, when it comes to Airbnb, the penalties are punitive in nature.
Okay.
So failure to acquire the license or failure to furnish one, because the TRA officers can just show up at your premise at any time. So failure to furnish them with a license, then you're liable to pay a fine of 100,000 or a jail term of 18 months, or both.
Wow.
Yes.
So I need to get my papers in order.
Yes, you do.
And is it too late if I've run my Airbnb for 5 years now? Is it too late?
No, it's not too late. Actually, TRA is calling upon all hosts and Airbnb owners to make an application for the license, because these are regulations that came in 2021. Of course, there's an understanding that people started operating Airbnbs way before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, and Angela, do I have any waiver? Period.
Okay, in terms of taxes, if you're non-compliant, most likely, even if you come in on board and they bring you on board, you would be subject to penalties and interest for the period that you have not been compliant. But that does not mean you shouldn't come and declare your taxes.
Yeah.
We need revenue, as the government needs revenue for
Yeah.
3 trillion. So in this case, it would be better for you as an individual or a taxpayer or a company, as you're running your business, don't sit there and wait for KRA to come at your doorstep and ask you, oh, you're running a business, have you been declaring taxes? It's going to be a tough fight, and it's going to be punitive in terms of the back and forth and the cases and the tribunal and all. So if you want to avoid all these logistics and legal costs, it's better to declare your taxes and also consult. We are available to give you this information for consultancy, and most likely also walk up to the KRA offices. They are nice people. They'll talk to you. They will explain to you.
I think the idea of KRA, does KRA, you can walk into KRA.
Yes, definitely. There's a customer service desk. There's a customer service desk there. They have customer service numbers.
Yeah.
You can call them, and they will definitely assist you with the correct information in terms of how you're going to go about your taxes.
Yeah, it's better to prepare than...
Yes, better be prepared, because for waiting for KRA to come to your doorstep is not going to be a nice
experience. Yeah,
you would like it. You'll spend a lot of money and time trying to justify why you have not been declaring your taxes, and also it's a patriotic thing to do, to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Says the tax.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And any parting shots, ladies?
For me, any Airbnb owner out there, kindly come forward and pay your taxes and avoid the legalities that come with it. If you need any consultancy, we are available at CM Academy. We're going to be able to guide you through on how you're going to go about it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Cynthia, for the legalities that you've told us about, any parting shot?
For me, I'll say information is power. Yeah. And we hope we have equipped you with the right information. So if you have not yet applied for that license, please do, to just avoid all these illegalities and the penalties.
Yes, especially because there's so many more Airbnbs that are opening, especially this year.
Yes.
So we need to ensure everything is done right. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And in case of any more information that you need, please follow us on social media and look out for our next podcast. Thank you.